Hi dear children, welcome to the physics class. In the last classes we were discussing about the force and what are the different effects of force, and we found that without a force no object can move, and we cannot make an object to, or we cannot stop any object, or we cannot change its speed, or we cannot change its shape or direction. So force is a must to make any one of these effects of force. Okay, and in today's class we are mainly talk about what are the different types of forces. A push or a pull is termed as a force, and what are the different types of forces. Mainly we divide force into two different types. They are contact forces and non-contact forces. And what is meant by this contact forces and what is meant by this non-contact forces, or which all forces can come under the contact forces and which all forces can come under the second type, non-contact forces. And let me take the first type of force and we discuss what are some examples for contact forces today. And contact forces, and let me give an example before I define what is a contact force. Suppose we are pulling an object, pulling a pulling a box, and we are trying to move this box from the place A to a latest position B, and for that we should touch the box A and we should apply a force in this direction from left to right. Then only it can change its position from A to B in this direction. So we should apply a force, and if force is enough to make it to move, that object will move to from A to B. Okay? And we should touch the object. We should be in touch with the object, or we should contact the object. Okay? Or we should interact with the object, or if we are pulling it with our hands, the hands must be in touch with the object, then only it will move. So the object should be in touch with our hands. Okay, or whenever the force is applying, the two objects must be in contact, or the surfaces, two surfaces, we can say that as surfaces. So surfaces, minimum two surfaces should be in contact, then only there a force can be acted upon. Okay, so listen. So this is the force in which the forces are, or the objects are in contact. Whenever we touch the object A, and the force is enough, object will move. Okay, when we lift water up, our hand should be in touch with the rope. Okay, whenever we lift a book, the book should be in touch with the hands. Okay, and whenever we kick a ball with the leg should be in touch with the ball. So till that time the ball will be waiting to get a touch. Okay, so we say that there are some forces, and the forces can make some effect only with the contact or with the interaction. Example, muscular force. Muscular force is a contact force, and in this force we are applying a force by using the energy stored in our own muscles. Okay, whenever we do any activity we are using this muscular force, or we are applying this muscular force, and we are spending some muscular energy from our muscles. So without touching an object we cannot apply the muscular force. Okay, so muscular force is a type of contact force. Okay, and not only human, animal can also exert some force on the object. A bullock can carry the loads, or it can carry the can carry the cart. How? The bullock should be in touch with we should tie the bullock with the cart, then only they can exert some force on the cart. Okay, and when cows are, or the horses can also, then donkeys are carrying heavy loads. So the load should be in touch with the donkey, then only the donkey can carry the loads. Okay, so we say that the object should be in contact. Okay, object should be in contact, and muscular force is a type of contact force. Okay, this force can be applied only there is interaction with the object. Okay, and second type of force is frictional force. Frictional force, force of friction or frictional force. What is a frictional force? That is a force existing between any two objects they are in contact. Any objects they are in contact. And suppose you are kicking a ball, the ball will not roll forever. Finally it comes to rest. Okay, when you stop pedaling the bicycle, after some time the pedals will comes to rest. Okay, so automatically the object can comes to rest even we stop applying force, but it will take some time to come to rest. Okay, that force is called frictional force. Frictional force is a force acting between any two surfaces they are in contact. When one object moves over another, there is a frictional force, and that frictional force is very essential for us. We can walk because of the frictional force. We can write on a paper because of frictional force. We can run only because of the friction between the surface and our sole. Okay, so between the two surfaces in contact, definitely there will be a force. That force is called a frictional force. That is very useful. Same way it is harmful too. If frictional force is very less, we cannot walk. We cannot walk on oiled surface. We cannot run on very soft or smooth surfaces. Okay, and rainy season, the vehicles are very tough to ride the vehicles because of the less friction. So frictional force is harmful as well as useful. So frictional force is a force acting between any two surfaces they are in contact. Okay, that is also a contact force. Okay, these two are the two main contact forces that is given in your textbook. So muscular force is an example of contact force, and frictional force is another example of contact force. And can you tell me what is this contact force now? Yes, contact force is the force acting between any two surfaces they are in contact, or any two bodies they are in contact, or any two objects they are in contact. When two objects are in contact, or when two bodies are in contact, their surfaces are in contact. Their surfaces are coming close to each other, or surfaces are in contact. That is why I am using surfaces instead of the body or instead of object. So surfaces of two objects or surfaces of two bodies are in touch with each other. Okay, so these two are two contact forces, and we can discuss about the second type of force, that is non-contact. There should not be any contact, but a force can be applied. Can you tell the example for that type of forces? No direct contact between objects, but one object can exert force on the other. That is the non-contact forces. So non-contact forces are forces, and they can act upon, this force can act upon any object without being a contact between. Can you cite some example for this type of forces? Can you, first type, example for non-contact forces, magnetic force. We don't want to keep any magnet in touch with the other object. When we bring the magnet close to the magnetic material, the magnetic material will jump towards the magnet. There is no line of contact, there is no connection. We don't want to keep in touch with. But when we bring the magnetic material close to the magnetic material will jump towards it, or magnet starts moving towards it due to the attraction. So they are not in touch with each other. We are keeping it far apart, but there is a force acting. No contact, but there is a force. That force is a non-contact force, that is a magnetic force. Okay, so magnetic force is an example of non-contact force, because without being any contact between the surfaces, the force is acting. Okay, and one more type, the electrostatic force. this force you studied last year. What is electrostatic force? Electrostatic force. And you know what is electrostatic force. You have done so many activities last year. When you rub the scale on your hair for a long time, then please hold the, if you hold the scale above the tiny pieces of paper, all the paper start jumping towards the charged scale. Or while rubbing, we can make an object charged one. Then due to the charge, all the tiny pieces of paper get attracted towards the charged scale. So natural way of charging an object is rubbing. We can charge our hands by rubbing each other. We can charge a comb by rubbing it hardly. We can make it as a charged one. So these are some of the this is the normal way of making an object as a charged one. Rubbing is the normal method. So by rubbing we can make an object a charged one. We can charge our hands, we can charge a scale, we can charge a comb, we can charge any material by rubbing. So charged object can attract other uncharged object. Okay, paper pieces are uncharged. So there is a force between charged object and uncharged object. That force is called the electrostatic force. Okay, so this, and that is also a non-contact force. And finally, there is a strong attraction between earth and all other objects on the earth. That is called gravitational force. Earth attracts all the objects towards its center. There is no line of contact. There is no need to touch the object with the earth. But the earth attracts all the objects, or earth towards the object. All the objects are attracted towards the center of the earth. That force is called gravitational force. When we throw a chalk up, definitely the chalk will come down, not because of my force, but because of the gravitational force. Earth is attracting. When we throw a ball up, definitely it will comes down. Okay, it will not stuck anywhere. It can, due to the attraction between the ball and earth, definitely it comes back to the earth. An apple from the tree can comes back or come towards the earth. Okay, all the objects, they can freely fall towards the earth because of the great attractive force exerted by the earth on the falling object. So that force is called the gravitational force. That is also a non-contact force. So did you understand? So the magnetic force is a non-contact force, electrostatic force is a non-contact force, and gravitational force is also a non-contact force. And contact forces, only two examples are given in your textbook, that is muscular force and frictional force. For non-contact force, a contact is compulsory. Without a contact, these forces cannot be applied. But for these set of forces, there won't be any contact or interaction or connection between two objects, and the objects surfaces, it is not in touch with each other, but the forces can be applied. That type of forces are called non-contact forces. So these are the two types of forces, contact forces and non-contact forces. Contact forces are forces in which the objects are in touch with each other, or they are in contact. The non-contact forces are forces acting when the objects are not in contact. Okay, so with this we conclude today's class, and we will discuss more things in the live class. Okay children, thank you.